Make your winning move today and bet at MyBookie. Use promo code Gators and claim your deposit match, redeemable up to $1,000. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Hey everybody, welcome to another Gators Breakdown Plus chat. I'm going to do the first part of this where we talk about Princeley, of course, Princeley Umanmielen putting his name into the transfer portal. I'm going to do the first part of that for everybody. And then the rest of the conversation I will cut off for just Gators Breakdown Plus members only. But since we got that little bit news bit out there, I'll put that out there for everybody. But then the rest of it will be a benefit to Gators Breakdown Plus members. So everybody, first of all, thanks for hopping in for another chat. We do have that news to discuss. I guess we can still talk a lack of coaching hires. It's been a week and a half now. And Florida still doesn't have a defensive line coach. Still does not have a DB coach. And there's all kinds of names and rumors flying out there of who could be the next hires. So, of course, us members, Breakdown Plus members, we'll chat about that. We will chat about that for sure. And then wherever else we want to go with this. I'm going to hang out about 45 minutes tonight. I got Mark Rogers from Mark Rogers TV, another college football. I got his, as we record this, it's about 7:02. I got his show at 8 o'clock. So we'll certainly hop on his so you guys can, if you're engaged Breakdown Plus right now and listening to it, you can head to Mark Rogers and I'll be on his show at 8. So we got a good, 45 minutes or so to talk. But of course, we'll start with Princeley Umanmielen, guys, and then you guys can hop in here and kind of a surprise that, look, it's not a surprise that he's leaving. I think if most people thought if he was going to go, it would be to test the NFL. But, an okay season. I mean, look, he was on all SEC second teams from the major services out there. So, of course, was getting recognized for what he was doing. Of course, but I think from some of Gator Nation, it was a lot of, I think, the social media antics more than his play on the field of why maybe we're turned off of him. But look, I just think he needed more help for one. I mean, he was the best of a bad defense, or one of the best of a bad defense, especially up front. The most consistent at getting pressure to the quarterback. I mean, if we look at his numbers one more time here this year, started all 12 games for the Gators. Career high tackles for loss with 11.5, 7 sacks was a high, quarterback hurry 17, and tied his career high in tackles with 39. I think he was really affected by the loss of Justice Boone, and at least for Justice Boone, if he was going to take those steps that we thought he would take, maybe would even filter a little more sacks towards Princely's side. Look, I thought all in all a good season by him. I thought he deserved to be recognized the way he was. I would have liked to see some of those pressures turn into sacks. I do think that that's part of when we look at Princeley, where we were a little more disappointed that it was ever so close to so many more sacks, and maybe even the impact of sacks. There was not really a whole lot of game-changing plays from anybody up front, but if some of those sacks were in more critical moments, I think we'd also be, a little more. A little less critical, I guess, overall of Princeley's game. But hey, look, if he's going to enter the transfer portal and not go to the draft, he did say he would look at Florida's defensive line coach hire, look, whenever that will be, and he may return. He's not shut the door on Florida. Look, when you put your name in the portal, of course, you can come back if you want. But I think if he was to come back, I think it'd be a plus for Florida. Overall, I think if you get some more help up front, it can make him better at the same time. So we'll see. We'll see. I know there was a video of him at the SEC championship game this weekend as well, when Alabama and Georgia's playing. I know Alabama's name has kind of been thrown around as maybe his next destination, or does he go back to Texas, Texas A&M or Texas as well? So there's a lot of angles to this, but Princeley Umanmielen's going to put his name into the transfer portal.
Dave, do you put much weight into it about the D-line coach, or you just think that's just rumors? Do you think he really thinks if we get a good D-line hire that you think he'll be back, or you think he's more Bama bound or going back to Texas?
I guess it probably depends on how much tampering there was going on beforehand. So,
good point.
Yeah, I think there's that angle of it too. No, I trust him when he says that. So that's what somebody brought up. He retweeted it and said yes, that he would maybe reconsider. So I'll take him for his word. Maybe I'm that naive, I guess, if we want to go along with that. But yes, I do think he would. At least, if say Florida does, we don't know who the name is. We'll get into that coaching part of it here in just a bit. But at the same time, what if Florida does hit a home run there? So put it this way: if you ask me right now, I say he ends up at another school. But I won't completely shut the door on him.
I think the most disappointing, or one of the more disappointing points about it, is that we haven't made a hire yet. He just kind of admitted that we still are looking for that position coach.
Yeah, I mean, probably. Maybe the uncertainty as well. Maybe Princely go ahead and he's got to get his name out there, I guess, as soon as he can. If he is going to attract different suitors, like if it was tampering and he does not have his mind made up where he may go. Maybe he takes a few visits, so maybe Florida not making a move here as far as defensive line coach. Maybe that played into it a little bit. Maybe there was just a better opportunity for him to stay instead of leaving. So I'm sure it plays a part. I'm hoping we make a hire pretty soon there. But before we move on to the coaches part of it, is there anything else you guys are you surprised at it? Are you happy about it? Not happy about it? Take a look at some of the young players, I think, as well, who now, Florida's got to go get an experienced edge guy. And like I said, Justice Boone comes up, but he's still more of a hand in the dirt, strong side defensive end type. The guys who are going to stand up and rush off the edge, now you're banking on a Pyburn who got hurt last year. He's not at that level yet, I don't think. Collins and Searcy, LJ McCray, you got coming in. Maybe it's a true freshman at the same time. So, of course, all those are names I think we can bring up here as who can be the next guy. But that's, I think we like in flashes what we saw from the young guys. But that's putting a whole lot of some young. That's putting a lot on some young names.
No, not to add another name, but it's like him and McClellan just disappointed me. It's just like I understand the whole NIL thing and people's getting paid, people are going to get tampered. I understand it, but it's like somebody's just got to step up and be a leader and be like, I'm going to be the guy to, turn this around. But it's like, I understand it's about money. If I was being offered that much that could change my family's future, obviously I would take the money. But somebody's got to eventually step up and say, I'm a Gator and we're going to get this thing going,
And Cersei will be veterans next year. So, if they're going to be going to the league, they'll be here for 3 years. So they've already been here for a third of the time they're going to be here. So,
well, you hope for that. You certainly hope that. Of course, all the rumors with ETN maybe hitting the portal too. So that's the thing. If you don't do enough winning, are you really going to have them for 3 years? Now, the thing is, okay, get snaps out of them now. And Florida didn't really have much of a choice anyway with the way they chose to build the roster, playing a lot of the young guys. If you found $100 bill on the ground, you wouldn't just walk past it. So don't pass up a chance at easy cash with MyBookie. MyBookie has the biggest online selection of odds and contests to fill all your sports betting needs, anytime, anywhere, so you can turn that sports knowledge into cash in your wallet. Bet on the NFL, college bowl games, or play for a share of big cash prizes in the weekly blackjack tournaments. If you've been waiting for the right time to get in on the action, well, that time is now. Make your winning move today. Sign up at MyBookie, use promo code Gators, and claim your deposit match, redeemable up to $1,000. Again, that is promo code Gators to claim your bonus. Experience the thrill of sports betting right from the comfort of your home. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Hey, that does go to a point, and it's another chat that I'm in, and kind of on this point that we're talking about, and his name's Bull Gator Magoo. I'm in a Twitter group with him, and we were talking this morning. He brought up a really good point. I know we've kind of talked about it as well, but he put some other interesting angles on it. And as we're looking at transfer portal madness around college football right now, he said the coaching philosophy has to change, and the skill set of coaches is going to have to adapt much more than it ever has. Coaches are going to really need to have a program and systems that are plug and play, not steep learning curves of intricate calls and schemes a stability of quality staff and environment as well as opportunity. You can't hang your hat in development as your foundation anymore. Yes, you have to develop and teach, but you have to do it in a player-friendly system. And look at this. Princely's experienced anyway. Maybe he doesn't fall into this category, but look, now we're seeing starters on teams and guys who were not just starters, but excelling on teams hitting the transfer portal. We're seeing true freshmen, the guys who have only been on campus for not even a year, hit the transfer portal, or in their first year hitting a transfer portal. He brings up a good point there, that maybe the philosophy of coaches now have to change a bit if you want a faster turnaround or something of the like. Can you hang your hat on development anymore if you have to go through the trials and tribulations of a rebuild and the losses mount up? Can you count on guys to stick it out with you and see it through? So I think that's another way of looking at it with the way this transfer portal is and the way it's changing college football. You may just have to play the game until it stabilizes.
And I think we're seeing that right now with our transfers. Some of our key guys. Not a lot of them, but Princeley and McKellen, those are pretty big losses.
Go ahead, MJ.
Yeah. What about what Emmert is talking about with the NCAA, and the college saying the colleges should pay the players? You think that might affect down the pike, or?
I think it would certainly help. It's something I think that could help out these programs and kids that are looking for the next big thing. Something's got to be done. I don't know when that will come about, how it will come about. Is that the limit of it? Does the TV money and the TV contracts start getting thrown into it as well, where it's even more money? I don't know. I don't know. Something has to be done. Look, a lot of us saw it anyway. I think the most overused phrase when the transfer portal happened was Pandora's box is now open, and that's exactly what it's turned into. So I think we know something has to happen. This is it is getting worse every year. I didn't think we'd see this many guys who have played at a college and still want to hit the transfer portal and go somewhere else, especially some of your higher level schools now. And I think what's killing it too are these mid-level schools and your lower tier schools. Vandy just got whatever, Vandy was not a good team this year, but whatever good they did have hit the portal. They're not going to be able to build on it. And we're seeing, it's going to be hard to be a mid-level team when you start getting all your players poached, ones that you've signed, ones that you developed, and now they're going on somewhere else. So something has to be done to help these schools manage their rosters a bit better.
Well, they're going to have to make an adjustment to the transfer portal then.
Yeah, and can you do that once you've opened it up this way? I don't know.
That's the issue. They opened it up like they did, like it was, like you said, it was Pandora's box, and it was the Wild West, and they didn't put any rules on it, basically. So now they have to figure out how. I don't know how they go back, but they're going to have to, because this has killed my love for college football. It's killed it.
Look, I get that sentiment too. I do. I get it a lot. I hear from a lot of you. I hear from a lot of college football fans. I get Twitter DMs and stuff, and I have got that message a lot. This is killing the joy of the game.
It teaches these kids. It teaches these kids that they can do whatever they want. Like there's no commitment now. And I get I get their frustration. Like when they commit to a coach, and then a coach leaves. I understand that frustration, but when you're a kid, there are growing pains to go through, and there is maturation to go through, and they are too young to leave them open to all the choices. They don't have the maturity to handle just having everything open to them, and with their family pulling at them and friends and everybody pulling at them for money. Like it's insane.
Yeah, there's a couple ways to look at it. It's hard for me to fault anybody who wants to make their situation better. And
no, I get that.
Yeah, and in a lot of in a lot of cases, I think this is what this is. But at the same time, it does have an effect on the game. And how do you get a middle ground? I think that's probably
that's it. The middle ground. Yeah, there has to be a middle.
Right. Like how do we get there? It has changed it so much to where. I mean, people keep throwing in the pro game references, and you don't have allegiances anymore. Now, that's the thing about college football. Now, we will always, I think, most of us, when you look at the college game, we're going to be Gators. And look, college football has kind of always had that rotation, but at least you got to see guys for 3, 4, 5 years. Now you may not even get to see them, but only 1 year or 2 years. College football has always had that rotation. You always are more school than you are players.
Absolutely,
but there's
still an attachment to players who've played for the school.
Right, there is a limit to that.
Yeah,
well, that's kind of what makes college different, or at least used to. Is the fact that you can pull. You've got these players for at least 3 to 4 years. I think the transfer portal should kind of go back the way it used to. I mean, it's a one-time deal.
Yes,
but you need to at least wait. 1 year. You need to at least play 1 year. If you sign with a school, you're locked in for at least 1 year before you can use your transfer. I mean, that would be it used to be 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. So that would be I guess a happy medium.
I think what we kind of wrestling with is that we want this thing to be fair for every kind of program, because I don't think winning programs are worried about any of the chaos.
No, exactly. Yeah.
So it's just the ones that trying to get the program back on track, such as ourselves. It hurts when these players just dip like they do, if you're perpetually in the playoff every year, you ain't worrying about none of this stuff. So, you got players for days or for years or whatever. So,
yeah, but there's only a few programs.
Doesn't Ohio State have like double-digit players in the transfer portal? So yeah, you're talking 1 or 2. Maybe I'll be exempt from this, but everybody else is going to be impacted. And I hate to say, and I posted this on Discord this afternoon, but man, I've been a booster and a lump for over 35 years, and I saw this coming. So I peeled way back on my booster contribution this year, and I'm still supporting them and part of Florida Victorious. But I kind of saw this coming, so I'm not going to throw away money knowing that the team and the players that we're pulling for and supporting 1 year is not going to be the next. So I don't know what the solution is, man, but it's super sad. You guys are all saying what I'm feeling is I've lost the love for the college football we grew up, and obviously I'll support the Gators, but it's hard to put a bunch of money into a product that's not performing, and I'm not seeing any time in the near future it's going to be back to where we expect it to be for the money we're putting into it.
That's where I was going to go with the next point. I think if we're getting, as Gator fans, we're getting double dipped. We're not winning, and this is happening to us. If we were winning, we wouldn't care. Honestly, I'll put it this way. I guess I don't want to speak for everybody, but if Florida was winning, it wouldn't be as big as an issue. I think we would still dislike what's going on, like to the game of college football, but I think we would overlook it a bit more if Florida was in the playoff, if Florida was fighting for SEC championships. I don't think it would be on front of mind as much as it is right now.
The thing is with me is like it's like just to piggyback what a lot of you guys are saying is that a lot of these guys that just go for the money, it's like they don't even want to go to the places they're going, and they end up end up being there a year and transferring out because they don't really want to be there. They just got the cash, got the money and run. They don't even want to be half these places. I mean, look at Texas A&M. Everybody's transferring from that school, and Miami paid all them people, and they're all transferring out.
Why is Dylan Gabriel transferring? I don't understand that.
Well, Jeff Lebby was his offensive coordinator. I would assume that's why he's transferring, be my guess.
Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't even think of that. But still, I mean, I'm sure they're going to run the same offense or very similar, but whatever.
Yeah. I also heard Oklahoma liked what they had behind him. So we'll see how that plays out. But hey, before we move on to other topics, anything about, I guess, Princely or any other transfer portal, names or and I'm looking at it from a Florida roster perspective right now. I know there's a ton of targets out there that Florida could be on the lookout for. But anything else about Princely guys or any of the other recent transfer portal entrants that came from Florida?
Did you? I'm sure you probably might have, made it clear about what happened with Kamari Wilson, but from what I heard, they wanted him to play a different position, and he didn't want to do that. Or was it just that he just wasn't good?
A combination of both, probably. Them wanting him to play linebacker is legit. Like that was part of the.
Yeah, that wasn't that floated last year, during the season, when he first started getting inserted into safety. There was talk towards the end of the season that they thought he was more of a linebacker.
Yeah, I don't remember how far it dates back. I know there was some time on it.
I just remember it playing near the playing time. It had to be the last few games of the season, something like that. I remember that talk that popped up in the Discord and in the chat. So, but yeah.
That's part of, Will and I discussed it last episode. You had Wilson, you had McClellan. Those were your top two players of the class. Those were two defenders. Your defense has stunk. That's 4 years in a row now. It stings that your top players in those classes weren't key cogs in helping turn this defense around.
Yeah. But in the transfer, in the transition classes, those things are riddled with bombs and misses. Sure. So, it's frustrating, but the biggest frustration is the defense being as bad as it's been the last 4 years, and it hasn't improved with all the things that they've done. It just continues to just be a complete sieve.
My goodness.
So, Dave, with losing Princely, we now have a pretty big need for defensive linemen in the portal, correct?
Oh, yeah, big need.
How are we expecting to have success in the portal if we don't have a coach for that position?
There we go. So that was going to be the next topic I went on. So I'm going to end the
$64,000 question.
Yeah, I'm going to end the Gators breakdown plus non-member part of this, and the rest of this will now be member only stuff. So hey, there you go. There's a tease. That's how you do this thing. But